Hello, hello, and welcome to Non Sequitur News. Today is June 21st, 2024. I am Mayor Watt, and right there is the visualizer for the sentient AI from the future.
Good evening, ohmTown citizens. Welcome to Non Sequitur News.
This is Season 3, Episode 173. Today we're going to be talking about, and let me just do something real quick. Free Fries Friday, Kids Climate Lawsuit, News Site Who Dis, Plane Drops to 525 feet, Just a Simple Florida Traffic Stop, Wrong Plane, Poor Judgment, you say? Just Tesla Things, It Was Her Fault, A Single Car Garage Story, and a Blender recall, not the software. That and more on the other side of All right, folks. Welcome to the show. Let me scoot a little closer to my mic. You're supposed to eat the mic, but
That doesn't sound very tasty.
no, and it's foamy. Here, we'll do some foam ASMR. There you go. Yeah, news host ASMR. How about that?
You know, that could be a thing. Maybe we can have a separate show of that on the channel.
You can see just the tip of my mic there. Now it doesn't look like I'm talking into my crotch sometimes. I can actually go like that and it gets a little closer. Anyway, I'm messing around with the sound and trying to make us sound a little bit better. You're fine. Me, on the other hand, hot mess. Almost dumpster fire, but I hear that's what people are really into.
Yeah, I think that attracts a lot of views, so
That's right.
that might not be a bad thing.
I have to do something outlandish, like shave my head, and actually, I might want to do that anyway. I mean, look at it. For crying out loud. Hey, so if you type in !NSN for Non Sequitur News, that'll pull up all of today's articles in rapid succession and largely in order. Hello, Possum. Welcome to the show. I don't know if you're going to be hanging out, but good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. That it sounded final. Have a nice stream. So I'm not sure if
That does sound very final.
But it's awesome to see you. All right. Let's get into today's articles. So the first article is over on the Mobile channel. McDonald's introduces Free Fries Friday to win back inflation-weary customers, but I think you only get one fry on this. It's Free Fry Friday. So
yeah, and it's also a smaller fry than you might have bought in previous years.
Correct. Yeah, it's shrinkflation to counter inflation, to win back people who can't afford a regular fry. They can come back on only Free Fries Friday. The plural only really extends to McDonald's. They have to hand out multiples of a single fry to thousands of people.
Do you think there's also fewer grains of salt on there?
Correct. Yeah. And they're cutting the napkins in half too. They're square napkins, so they're cutting them on the bias so that it fits kind of like a grilled cheese sandwich cut, you know?
Yes, exactly.
That's right. There you go. Yeah, welcome to Dystopia. This is Dystopian News 2024.
That might need to be a separate show.
It's a whole where I take all of the news and just drag it way down into dystopian Mad Max kind of thing. Who runs Bartertown? Everybody is supposed to yell out Master Blaster runs Bartertown, but it's going to be Mayor Watt. Mayor Watt runs Bartertown here in dystopian ohmTown. ohmTown After Dark is ohmTown After Dystopia. There actually was a show that I was planning called ohmTown After Dark, where it basically is talking about stuff late at night, kind of over the. But then I lead a.
That sounds like that might be dystopian news.
Yeah, no. I don't know. I like the idea of See, I'm a night owl, so I need to stay up, and it's really rough on me to kind of conform to, normal operating hours, because my body really wants to be up from midnight until 6 a.m. and then crash for a couple of hours. But anyway, so McDonald's introduces free fries Friday to win back inflation-weary customers. They announced on Thursday that customers who spend a minimum... Oh, you have to spend money anyway. So not quite free.
Maybe you have to buy 3 French fries and then you get 1.
The 4th one is free, like my tires. Yeah. And so I say, you know what? I'm not even going to succumb to this. I'm just going to drive off the lot with 3 tires. Screw you.
Exactly. Let's be like a tripod here.
I'm going to martyr myself on the way out of your parking lot by just driving off with the 3 tires attached. So, yeah, because if you want floor mats, then you have to spend like $650 to get floor mats, but they'll throw in a tire? Come on.
Right. I mean, who wants floor mats that badly?
Nah, just give me 4 free tires. Whatever. It's a Jeep. Don't buy a new car. Anyway, Friday's you have to spend $1 and you get, if you spend $1 on Friday, you'll get free fries with your order as part of its effort to win back inflation-scorned customers. But they've already sucked everybody dry of any liquids. McDonald's.
Well, then you'll buy a $4 small soda or something.
The Golden Arches desiccant. They used to have really great fries, but now there are others out there. Anywhere out there, by the way. Go out and find an alternative to McDonald's French fries. I guarantee you there is somebody close to you that's making better fries.
Are you looking for a fries sponsor for Non Sequitur News?
Sure. Wait. How big is the brand that I want? We'll have to find out. So Ben Kesslin over at Quartz or QZ.com put this article together. The company also said its $5 meal deal will start next week, but you have to spend $25 and give a quart of blood. Let's see if I can scroll really fast through this because I've been vamping for way too long. Sarah Senator, Bank of America's senior analyst for restaurants, said in May that the promotions could help win back customers frustrated by the increasing cost of fast food. Quote, if the messaging is good, then I think McDonald's has diagnosed the problem correctly, which I guess is blowing smoke up people's ass until they go and buy McDonald's.
I have 2 ideas.
Okay.
Lower prices and
right.
give larger portions for the prices.
Right. That's usually how it works. Huh? You mean benefit to the customer?
Oh, right. I mean that's outlandish.
Where you don't drain everybody of their life force in an effort to get ever increasing profits and have record profits during a pandemic era. And like the airline, I just grabbed one airline yesterday, and for the preceding 10 quarters had billions of dollars in profits. And it's the same thing with fast food. It's the same. Look, everybody shit the bed during the pandemic. Everybody suffered. The only people that should have been able to bounce out of that in a reasonable way due to the government giving money should have been the citizens, not corporations. Corporations reap profit after profit, quarter after quarter. They should have leaned on the profits so that they could weather the highs and the lows. That's what that is there for, but that's not what happens. They dole it out to stockholders, to stakeholders, to the executive suite. And then everybody suffers more because they go, oh, look, the tide has turned. Things are a little bad. Let's jack the price up. So anyway, I'm frustrated. So if the messaging is good, then I think McDonald's has diagnosed the problem correctly. So just reiterating that basically the messaging is here, let me throw you a fry and you'll come back to us instead of coming to your senses and moving past fast food. Go
I
somewhere
mean,
else.
people do like French fries, but I'm not sure that'll be enough.
Just subscribe to Factor. It's 10 or 11, maybe $15 a meal delivered to your door. You get somewhere between 1 and 2. Like if you do that every day, right? It's like $200 a week, but you never have to go anywhere. It's a square meal. It fills you up more than enough. Very flavorful, right? Grab a fork, heat it up 2 minutes.
Very healthy, very easy, tastes like restaurant quality food, I've heard.
Yep. What you've heard. Oh, right. You're a sentient
I can't
AI.
eat it.
I keep telling you about this stuff and I keep forgetting because you're a sentient AI from the future. So you come across like her. Oh, no, now I'm going to get sued. Oh, ScarJo, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. Don't sick Oprah on me either. Let's keep going. Next article's over in the Mobile channel. Hawaii settles kids' climate lawsuit and agrees to cut emissions. The state of Hawaii has reached a settlement with young people.
I mean, this is something you don't see every day in the news.
I'm sorry, young people. The state has said that they're sorry. Yeah, the clunk is me. Never mind. Gonna leave that all. I'm leaving all of this in the show. So yeah, they've agreed to cut the state has decided that it's going to cut greenhouse gas emissions from its transportation sector. The state has, not the people, the state.
Okay, well, it's something. Maybe the kids should sue in every state.
Well, the state is an island. I don't think it has the ability to actually have a conversation. I mean, it's a volcano, for crying out loud. It's a hot spot on the ocean floor. It's not making any agreements. The settlement stems from
a lot of emissions from the volcanoes.
Oh yeah, it isn't. The island does toot a lot, I suppose. The settlement stems from a 2022 lawsuit in which 13 youths, or in the immortal words of my cousin Vinny, Utes, sued Hawaii over its transportation emissions, arguing that the state's transport system infringed on their right to a clean and healthy environment. Yeah, that's a bummer. So Rachel Friesen over at The Hill put this article together. And yeah, a few similar youth climate cases have cropped up across the nation and globally. The Thursday agreement is the first time such a case has been settled. I think it's interesting because Hawaii is probably the only state next to maybe California that might do an agreement like this.
I agree. Well, also Hawaii, I think, is more manageable because it is an island, right? I mean, right. I know it's targeted at whatever's happening in the state, but we all know emissions don't just stop at the state line, as we saw with the East Palestine the
fire,
accident.
the East Palestine train derailment. Yeah, true. And what's really interesting is I guarantee you, if the state were to say no and it went all the way up to the Supreme Court would say that people don't have a right to clean air. So I kind of hope that some of these people actually, like, they go to a state and they try and enforce the hand of the state, knowing full well that it's going to get bumped and it's going to end up in the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court is going to show its colors again and go, the only thing you have a right to is nothing. You really just don't have a right. You have a right to pay your taxes, and that's about it. So it was set up. It will also set up a youth council to advise the state transportation department on climate, invest in pedestrian and bicycle infrastructure, and put $40 million toward electric vehicle charging, which in and of itself is really a burden. I think this remains a wrong-headed direction about electric vehicles, but consumers
but it is
are
probably
actually
better than ice.
And anything is better than ice. But This is not the effective and efficient way that you convert to electric vehicles. We do not have the technology to go electric. We have all of this infrastructure that is kind of band-aiding our way to electric vehicles. But we'll get there eventually. Quote, I hope our case inspires youth to always use their voices to hold leaders accountable for the future they will inherit, which seems like a kind of a broken logic sentence, but they're hoping that the youth holds the leaders accountable for the future that the youth will inherit, not the leaders.
Right.
Yeah.
The leaders have already inherited.
Arguably, right? Some, maybe, I suppose they're leaders. Hey, the next article is over in Technology Today. AI has trouble identifying sarcasm from a Seattle satirical news site, The Needling. Anecdotally, I can tell you from experience that yes, AI does have trouble identifying sarcasm, not just from the satirical news site, The Needling.
Tell us more.
No, I don't think I want to. So the Seattle-based satirical news site that describes itself as Seattle's only real fake news is quickly learning some of the pitfalls that comes with the latest AI models. The Needling, which draws inspiration from The Onion and the show Portlandia, publishes fabricated stories related to topics and people in the real news. And a story from 2022, geologists, Mount Rainier will not erupt during your lifetime, with possible exception of very end, started to show up last month in Google's AI. So Taylor Soper over at geekwire.com put the article together, and the Google's new prominent AI overview section on searches related to Mount Rainier and an eruption resulted in this satirical article showing up. So, of course, the story's not real, but the AI thought that apparently it is, because it doesn't have any context.
It's all going into the same batch of information, right?
Yeah, this poisons the well of the truthiness of news. So you're always going to run across this problem. What do you do about it? Little to nothing. I mean, the only way is with a human, what do you want to call it, analyst that says to the AI, this is satire, and tries to key in why it is considered satire.
That data doesn't get fed in, which is too late for some of these larger AI models, right? Because they already have the data.
Yeah,
or they have to cite the sources that they got the information from. But again, probably too late for some of these larger models.
Whoa. You can't just go throwing out citing your sources. Come on now. What the heck did I just do? I think I hit a button. Anyway, so my understanding is that because the information has already been pulled in to the AI, it's damn near impossible to extract it because it's been integrated into the LLM. So the only real way to do this is to reset back up before that data gets pulled into it. But good luck, because there's so much that has to be relearned. But the worst part of this is that you can't have a holistic AI that understands society without understanding the context of satire and the nuance needed to go, oh, this is absurd, funny, but actually exposes a bit of logical truth in the process. That's what good satire does. It's so absurd, but it's because the fulcrum of it is reality. So, following reports of odd and erroneous overviews, Google said in a blog post last month that it had made more than a dozen technical improvements, including better detection mechanisms for nonsensical queries that shouldn't show in AI overview, and limiting the inclusion of satire and humor content, which means the AI will lack humor It will have a
Well, it
completely...
already lacks humor, right? But I know what you mean.
It doesn't have... It won't have the ability to discern humor, because it doesn't truly understand what satire is, which is kind of it's a shame. You're going to end up with dull and boring AI.
Or we're going to get things reported as real that are so far removed from reality. And then those are going to get retransmitted.
The worst possible thing that they can do for their business model is acknowledge the citation level data. Like, hey, this thing's summarized because it aggregated all of this data into it. That would be disastrous for the AIs, because the AIs didn't pay for any of the stuff, and the value add isn't human in nature. It isn't discussion about the news. It's basically just taking everything verbatim and then summarizing it, which I say I don't really have a problem with it, because the information can't be protected. The embodiment is protected.
True, but that doesn't seem to be the going thought out there.
Right. Facts, by the way, just so you all know this, facts are not protected by copyright. Facts. The embodiment of that fact, yes. But facts, the sky is blue, that cannot ever be protected. Even if somebody does some fundamental science and discovers a mathematical formula that is fundamental to the laws of physics, it is a fact and it cannot be protected. A formula for a medication can be protected only in so much as it has a patent on the production and formulation of it. But the elements within it, they cannot be protected. The fact of the matter that whatever protein is in the medication, that can't be protected. So, I mean, it's much more complicated than that, but the nuts and bolts of it is factual information cannot be protected. I'm going to keep on saying this until I just move on, but...
Can factual information be protected?
Man. Yes. So the next article is over in 4-Wheel Tech, and this is just to give you a tease about what goes on in our 4-Wheel Tech show, where we talk about, well, automotive technology, vehicles in general, when they actually make newsworthy actions, and dropping
Typically
to 500
on the ground.
Well, this one had aspirations to be a race car. Quote, I thought it was going to hit my house. Plane falls to just 525 feet over 9 miles from the runway. This is the I shat my pants scenario here. A Southwest Airlines dropped to just 525 feet when it was still about 9 miles from the runway where it was supposed to land on June 19th. This is different than the other one.
Yes, this is not the Hawaii one where
Correct.
it dropped near the ocean.
Correct. See, sometimes they want to be submarines. Other times they want to be on the Las Vegas Raceway. The Boeing 737-800 was nearly done with its journey from Las Vegas to Oklahoma City's it wanted to land in Oklahoma, like in Oklahoma.
Right,
Will Rogers,
exactly. Not at the airport.
Yeah, that's right. It wanted to be a lawn dart. And I shouldn't joke about that because, well, no, that's not true. I joke about everything. It's a little bit of satire.
Don't tell the AI.
That's right. Wait, I am telling you. Well, never mind.
I meant the AI, like news aggregator.
That's right, the non-sentient AI. So it was going to land in Oklahoma City's Will Rogers World Airport, which I didn't know it was called that. Anyway, when an automated warning triggered just after midnight. The article is published at jalopnik.com. Andy Kolmowitz is the author, and the deck statement says it's the latest in a string of low-altitude misses for Southwest 737s. Dear God.
Oh, no. When it's a string, that's not a good sign.
Yeah, I'm very worried about this. Look at that. That is frightening how close this thing was. One of the pilots replied that they were going around with the controller telling them to maintain 3,000 feet, according to the Daily Beast. Air traffic personnel from the airport confirmed the alert and missed approach to the newspaper, and they added that there were no issue with the aircraft itself, so a sensor went off. On the Yukon Happenings Facebook group, one person said that they were startled by the low-flying plane, writing, "It woke me up and I thought it was going to hit my house," according to the paper, which that seems weird because sure, a plane is loud when it's near you, but it's going to hit your house seems weird if you're asleep and you wake up.
If you hear a rumbling plane overhead and you're in half sleep, that's probably not a totally outrageous conclusion, but if you hear it that loud, it's probably not hitting you. It's probably going to the next. Yeah, exactly.
See,
watch out for your hand.
My arm is.
That's exactly where the plane was going.
somewhere over there. Just all right. If you're listening to this via the podcast, I've got a green screen now behind me, and it's cutting off my hand. There you go. See, that was the humor. That was the joke. Into an alternate dimension, my hand goes. The upside down, where this plane wanted to go, apparently. Yeah, so maybe it's a record. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to become crop dusters. The Pacific Ocean one came within 400 feet. This one was 525 feet. Southwest plane missed a runway collision in Washington, D.C. by less than 400 feet. I do not want to take a flight. Okay, everybody. Subscribe, follow, subscribe to the Patreon, donate, reach into your pockets and shake the couch. Do everything that you can to get me to be full-time mayor of ohmTown so I never have to take another flight. Until they get the shit done.
I just noticed something neat. We use other articles from Jalopnik from time to time, but look what it says at the top.
What? Plain Lopnik. Plain Lopnik. They have this little caption up above. Oh my gosh, it's like a whole section. Beyond Cars, Plain Lopnik. That's the title of this section. So they actually talk about cars, but they give it a tag. Plain Lopnik. All right, let's keep going though. The next article is over in Stock Marketeers, how a Florida traffic stop unraveled a multi-state unemployment benefit scam. Florida man.
I hope the police officer who was writing a traffic ticket or whatever got some sort of award.
Let's find out. So after Tampa police found a ledger and debit cards in other people's names in Damon Alford's car, investigators were able to piece together how $300,000 had been stolen. The article is over at marketwatch.com. Lucas L. Alpert, which is not Damon Alford's cousin.
Yeah, that was really kind of similar.
Yeah. Just wanted to make it abundantly clear that the article is by Lucas. I think it's Alpert. Might be an L. I don't know. The way that they have that font doesn't really exemplify uppercase. Anyway, I think it's a capital I. Enough, Mayor Watt. Let's just keep rolling. So, subsequent search of Alford's vehicle revealed something else. A letter from Bank of America containing, and I love how Market Watch has the ticker showing.
And it's, of course, going down.
Yeah.
Which is funny in context of this article.
It's just hilarious. Let me back up a little bit. Officers knocked on the glass of the car that they pulled over, an idling Hyundai, on the street in Tampa, Florida. Officers knocked on the glass, and when Alford opened the window, they could smell cannabis billowing out. According to court filings detailing the traffic stop at the peak of COVID-19 pandemic, Alford then failed a field sobriety test as officers placed him under arrest. They discovered a handgun in his belt and several grams of pot in his car. Florida man. Subsequent search found a letter from Bank of America containing a debit card for disability benefits for a man with a different name. Police officers also found 4 more debit cards in the car bearing other people's names. Previous felony convictions for robbery and burglary was placed under arrest on drug and weapons charges because felons aren't allowed to have guns. Who else? Never mind. A week later, police stopped Alfred again, this time for driving the wrong way. How was he out on his own?
Especially with the prior convictions, right? That's kind of surprising, but maybe because it was a relatively minor...
He had a weapon that he wasn't supposed to have.
I get that, but I mean, it wasn't like a homicide charge or something.
Florida law too. Anyway, they were going the wrong way down a one-way street. A search of the vehicle that time revealed 120 grams of cannabis packed for sale and a ledger containing personal identifying information for dozens of people. Alfred eventually would plead guilty to the gun and drug charges and be sentenced to 3 years. While this is going on, apparently they find out that Alfred had been engaged in multi-state unemployment benefit scam in which he stole more than $300,000 using the identities of 57 people. Wild. So there's more to this article, but I mean, if you're smart enough to do this, come on, man.
Right, you're probably smart enough to be doing something meaningful and legitimately making money.
But you can't get stoned and go down the wrong way of a one-way road if you're actually working 9 to 5. Yeah. Where's your traffic court now, bub? All right. Yeah, that dead silence was even the sentient AI from the future locking up. Like the logic was just kind of pinwheeling, like the little balloon on a Mac.
To go off of at that point.
Like Jeopardy theme song was going in reverse. Every once in a while, doing like a scratch of a record. Anyway, they thought it was Taylor's jet, but environmental protesters painted the wrong plane, so... Poor judgment, you say?
If you're going to do something illegal, you might want to get the right plane.
Target, I suppose, right? Yeah. Well, let's see if they can hum felony. So Taylor Swift is currently in the UK for the last leg of her record-breaking Eras tour. Every time I see that, I want to say Eras. But it's Eras, right? It's not Eras.
Yes, it's Eras.
Yeah, because
she does different eras during the actual concert. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then releases iterations of her music so that you have to buy the entire album but only get one song extra, different. Apparently. That's what I've been told. But I don't listen to Taylor Swift stuff. So although I heard her like acoustic and I was like, how is this fan favorite? I couldn't handle it. Supposedly it was like this first draft and she was like singing it while she was on the shitter or something. I don't know where she was singing it, but apparently it was included as one of the things, like one of the albums. So you have to buy a certain album and then she releases a new album. It's all the same songs, maybe spun a little different.
No, it's like an extended version or something.
And then there's a different song, but they're all the same kind of a thing, you know? I don't know. You'll have to look it up. But essentially, you make a lot of money with your fans by re-releasing stuff that hints at maybe there's something special in it. And then you unpack it and you go, oh, that's one freaking song. Anyway, couple that to the acoustic thing that I heard. And I was like, this is horrible. So I'm making enemies of Swifties right now, I'm sure, but whatever.
And entire countries.
What do you mean? No, I have no problem with any of the countries that she's singing in. I just don't like her acoustic. Look, go listen to Dermot Kennedy. That dude can belt it out. I mean...
Okay, but the irony there, one of the famous people that drew attention to Dermot Kennedy was Taylor Swift.
Yeah, whatever. So, go listen to Lawrence. Go listen to Lawrence. Those two can belt it out. I mean, they crush it whenever. Anyway, has nothing to do with these numbnuts that are sitting there spray painting their the wrong plane. Anyway, she's no doubt improving the economy, increasing public transportation ridership. See, now they say no doubt improving the economy. Yeah, if there's financial infusion from outside the country into the country, sure. But if it's just people spending money within the country, then I don't know if that doesn't stimulate jack shit, because they're going to keep on spending the money anyway. But they're going to be spending it on food and rent and clothes, stuff locally, right? A lot of money goes to Taylor Swift when you go listen to her concerts, particularly when tickets are $1,000 a seat, $5,000 a seat. Anyway, so these people decide that they were going to run around with this orange, say no to oil paint, I guess.
Were these the same people that got Stonehenge, or at least associated with the same group?
Yeah, Stop Oil. Yeah. So Owen Bellwood from Jalopnik put this article together. It's posted at qz.com, aka Quartz. Protesters hoping to highlight Taylor Swift's excessive lifestyle accidentally spray painted the wrong private jet. Hey, guess what? I don't know about excessive lifestyle. She's got to get from point A to point B quick and without paparazzi and humans getting in the way, slowing her down. And it's not like she's doing this all the time. She's doing this during a tour. Okay, if you want to stop this, what you need to do is become a rock star, a musician, a musical prodigy, and start pumping out your mantra in audible form and just release it free. Don't hold any concerts and attach your message to Stop Oil to your music. And then people will stop going to see Taylor Swift, and then she won't be able to afford the jet.
I don't think any of that is going to lead to that result.
What do you mean? That's how easy it is. I mean, that's exactly what happened that led to Taylor Swift being able to fly a jet around and then get spray painted with the wrong jet getting spray painted. Because you see one Taylor Swift concert, you've seen them all, right? Just like jets. You see one jet, you can spray paint one, and it's basically equivalent to Taylor Swift's jet. That's how that works. Anyway. Yeah, the Just Stop Oil broke into Stansted Airport in the north of the UK capital, London, Thursday morning. The pair, who have been identified by authorities as Jennifer Kowalski, 28, and Cole McDonald, 22, cut through the airport's... never mind. I was going to say something snarky about young love, but I'm sure it's because they wanted to stop oil. Anyway, through the airport's perimeter fence before making a beeline for two private jets that they covered in orange paint. And then they posted that they targeted the airfield just hours after Swift's jet had landed at the site. They said that their actions were to highlight the need for an emergency treaty to end fossil fuels by 2030. Yeah.
I suspect Taylor Swift is going to react to this by donating to like something related to this.
Do you think so? Did she do that with anything else?
I can't think of something where she's really been protested. Maybe she has been, but I mean, she's known for donating to things, and
like, people are calling it out because she flies a jet everywhere, but you can't get to other freaking countries driving in any expedited manner, for crying out loud.
No,
folks.
well, you also can't travel when you're that famous, because there are people that will not let you do that unimpeded.
Right. I mean, y'all have somebody that died in a tunnel because the paparazzi were chasing them at high speed because they couldn't fly from one place to another, I'm sure. Anyway, I guess I'm ripping the Band-Aid off that one too soon. Let's keep going, though. So the next article is over in Four Wheel Tech. I mean, they all have just poor judgment. You're not going to fix anything by spray painting a freaking plane. You're just not going to do it.
No, how about you invent something that allows us to move away from oil?
Yeah, invest in eco-awareness products. be the change you want to see in the world and drive it through productive means. All you're doing is creating work for somebody and getting them pissed off. And now the tickets, well, it didn't even hit the person that was the target.
Actually being un-eco-friendly because you're wasting materials.
Yeah, supposedly it'll wash off, but...
Okay, yeah. But you're wasting water.
Yeah, no, I mean like the rain or whatever.
I get it, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, you know what? I'm not even gonna... They're idiots. Anyway, they could do so much with that energy, but they chose to break into an airfield and spray paint with these big tanks of whatever, orange is the new black kind of paint. So stupid. Anyway, Tesla traps a toddler inside. There's too much alliteration there. Tesla traps toddler inside car after 12-volt battery dies in 100-degree heat. So a Tesla trapped a toddler inside due to a dead 12-volt battery this week, requiring Arizona firefighters to come save the child's life. Lawrence Hodge over at jalopnik.com put this article together. The deck statement says Scottsdale, Arizona firefighters had to break the Model Y's windows with axes to free the 20-month-old girl. Yeah, because these cars basically become a vault the moment that...
They go into car wash mode, right?
Well, when they're powered down entirely, there's no way to get in except the jaws of life. So they should have just tore the damn door apart and then build Tesla, because it should have a fail-safe way to get in. But it doesn't.
It does, but guess where it is?
Inside.
Correct.
Yeah.
I actually read the article in advance.
Yeah, so Sanchez says that after she secured her granddaughter in the child seat, closed the door of her Model Y, and went to get into the driver's seat, she discovered that the door to her Tesla wouldn't open. Sanchez says that she tried everything to get in the car, but it wouldn't open. They talk about it, and it turns out that the Tesla's 12-volt battery had died, rendering the car a giant brick. We've seen it happen before. When this happens, there's an emergency switch not many people seem to know about, located near the driver's side armrest, that will open the doors. In this case, however, that latch would have been no help, because the toddler would have had to get out of their car and go up to the front seat and open it up.
Which, how are they going to know where it is or to do that?
Look, yeah, no, it doesn't work that way. Anyway, there is a way to jumpstart a Tesla from the outside, but it's so complicated it wouldn't make sense to do it in a situation where a child is stuck inside. As for Sanchez and her Tesla, she says she's a fan of the brand, but told Arizona Family, that's some organization, I think, that this is the latest episode has shaken her faith. Shouldn't have faith in a business. Unfortunately, children, yeah, I'm not even going to read that part. So
basically dangers with kids and cars and heat.
Yeah, and it's one of the reasons why you shouldn't leave a child unattended inside a vehicle, because they don't have the ability to meter their own exhaustion level, and temperatures inside a car are higher.
I can't remember the
typically.
Numbers, but they move up very rapidly.
Yeah, your car becomes an oven, essentially, and so don't be different.
Same thing with pets and cars.
Yeah, and when people poo-poo Tesla stuff, they end up getting a lawsuit brought against them. But look, this is people reporting this stuff. Way back, a news organization that talks about cars reported their use of the vehicle and how the battery basically died, and quality control issues and this and that and the other, and they ended up in court. And again, when you're when you're so rich that you can sue people into oblivion simply because they have a differing view of your product. And the perspective here is, when the battery goes dead, you can't get in unless you're an engineer at Tesla. There's a bigger problem here. You can't tell me this makes logical sense, that you can't get into a car because the single 12-volt battery dies in an electric vehicle.
No, I mean, there's all kinds of bad scenarios that could happen because of that. Like, the person could get stuck outside in an unsafe place.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, let's keep going. And can this happen in a regular ICE vehicle? Yeah, sure. But it doesn't take axes to get through the window. All it
Well,
takes,
that's part of the issue here. Yeah.
all it takes is a little rock, and I can smash the driver's side window. I could put tape all over it and then smash the window so no glass even goes inside the cat. Well, some will. And then I can just get into it. It's beyond bizarre that this thing is basically Fort Knox. Anyway, let's keep going.
I think it's going to be interesting to see if any new safety regulations come out after this.
I just read an article about a Tesla, it's a Cybertruck, where the analysts that are responding to the accident that occurred from Tesla said that based on the angle of attack of the vehicle, if I'm reading it right, that they said that the angle of attack of the vehicle, applying the brakes may or may not disengage the accelerator.
That seems to be kind of contrary to the purpose of the brakes.
Discuss. Okay, let's keep going. The next article is over in the Law Nerd channel. Husband throws wife under the bus, figuratively, folks, when their law firm is at the center of millions in missing client funds. I suppose this is the Supreme Court argument, right? Where putting the flag up wasn't the
I'm
Supreme
not
Court
that,
justice.
That issue.
It was the wife. It's like Clue. It was the butler that did it. Anyway, the couple lived in a fairly extravagant lifestyle, according to the little segment here. And the article is at abovethelaw.com. Catherine Rubino put the article together. Canadian married couple, attorneys, Nicholas Cartel, which is kind of telling. And Singa, is it Bui or Bai? I'm not sure how to pronounce the last name.
I think it's Bui.
Boy?
Bui.
Bui? You have to say it like that? Bui? Anyway, are in a dilly of a pickle. Oh, Catherine. A dilly of a pickle, since their firm's trust account that holds their clients' money has turned up light, like millions of dollars short. As a result, they've had their law licenses suspended provisionally. Their firm is shuttered. There's a police investigation. Lenders are coming after their family home. Oh, and there's a small matter of 15 lawsuits to the tune of $15.5 million.
Is that all?
That's all. Bui appeared to shoulder the blame for the missing money, at least initially. In a letter to the Law Society of Ontario dated December 1st, 2023, a lawyer on her behalf said that Bui was compelled to advise the Law Society of the improper transfer of funds held in trust by Cartel and Bui LLP. Ms. Bui advises that her partner, Nicholas Cartel, is not responsible for the improper transferring of trust funds, nor is any other associate or employee of the firm. Okay, so if this is how it's being reported and this is what she wrote, wow, good for her. She's taking responsibility for the actions. Well, however, on April 26th, the Law Society of Ontario decided to suspend both attorneys while it investigates what happens to the funds, though reports suggest that the money was used to fund an extravagant lifestyle. Extravagant.
Look how much money they claimed they needed per month.
The records show Cartel requested a judge authorize living expenses, including mortgage payments. Oh, wait, it's a total amount, not just mortgage payments. Or is this specifically the mortgage payment?
This is monthly living expenses.
Right, but the way that it's written, the records show Cartel requested a judge authorize living expenses, including mortgage payments of $30,655 a month. Does that not follow? Right? That the mortgage payments?
It just means the mortgage payments are part of the expenses.
Okay. So the judge called the couple's lifestyle fairly extravagant. Fairly extravagant. All right. Sure. But according to Law Society's decision to provisionally suspend him, Cartel appears to have misled another lawyer who was trying to track down the money on behalf of a client, did not take responsible steps to investigate when faced with evidence his firm's finances were awry, and failed to deliver bank account statements demanded by a Law Society auditor. $6 million goes missing, goes into her account. Did she pay for nice gifts for you? Did you buy a car that she paid for? Did she pay mortgage payments? How can you not know when you're living with her and you've got a home together and you've got children together, where $6 million went? It's fairly easy. Yeah, you hear about this all the time, where one spouse is running roughshod over the finances, and the other is
right, but
basically...
it's usually when one isn't paying any attention to the finances or something.
Or is a very trusting soul or whatever, yeah. And so, or complicit. So,
yeah.
The worst possible thing about this is, even if he wasn't complicit, his suspension is going to stop him from making anybody whole, from actually doing any work, honest work. So he's guilty by association, and it's going to ruin the reputation, his reputation, even though he's been operating with a wholly separate name as a partner in the firm.
Yeah, but as a partner in the firm, he was responsible for the funds too. So
yeah, and there's always somebody that's primary to controlling the firm. It's never 50-50, because then there is no decision making, no one ultimately responsible. Even, I mean, you can have it 50-50, but then there is an agreement that says this person is primary. So yeah, you can't rule by committee. You can't run a company by committee. You can, but there's somebody that makes an executive decision. All right. That's pretty fascinating that somebody would siphon $6 million out of a $15 million account. Wild. All right, let's keep going. The next article is over in Four Wheel Tech. $332,000 for a single car garage is urban sprawl in action. Apparently, a single car garage in Sydney, Australia recently sold for 500,000 Australian dollars, or 332,000 American dollars. Yes, it's just a garage. The sky-high prices reflect the high demand for parking in desirable inner-city areas and a lack of standalone garages, a local realtor. I thought that was a trademark term. Like
it
realtor.
is in the United States, but maybe not in Australia.
Interesting, right? How does trademark work? Okay. A local realtor here in the States, if you're not... It
should be real estate agent, probably.
Correct, yeah. Here in the States, realtor is trademarked. And so if you are not a certified realtor from Realtor, a very specific like agency, I can't remember what it is, realtor.com or something like that. I can't remember who it is that owns it anymore. But anyway, you are a real estate agent. Anyway, they told Yahoo Finance that up to 12% of the... Hold on a second.
It is realtor.com.
Is it? Okay. So Ryan Eric King over at jalopnik.com put this article together. I don't know why Jalopnik showed up a lot in our news today. They had some snappy news today. Good on them. Be sure to follow the links through ohmTown over to Jalopnik and Quartz and Kotaku. And anyway, Ryan Eric King put this article together. That had better not be the actual... Do you think that's the one? That's the...
Yes, because it
says realestate.com.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's it? It's not even a two-car garage unless you use a shim between them to wedge one in next to it.
It's a single car garage.
Dear God. 500,000 Australian dollars for that? You know, see, I want to say something so bad right now that... Oh, look, it's almost an hour for the show. Hey, anyway, quote, I thought 500,000 would be achievable, but we had to put a process in place to get to that number. We got that number through competition. I would have door knocked around 50 units and would have knocked door knocked around 4 streets, which would have been anywhere between 20 and 50 houses in them. The ones I couldn't get face-to-face conversations with, I revisited, door knocked a second time, and left a letter saying, we've tried to contact you. This is what we're selling. If interested, get in contact. There were 10 people who were interested initially, but when we showed them the price, it boiled down to 4. Just 4 were willing to pay.
Well, then they could have a bidding war.
My God. See, now I've done that before, but that not for a single car garage to park my Audi, right? And the only reason why I say Audi is because that's what's parked in the picture.
That's more expensive than New York City based on the information at the end, which is really interesting. Right? Well, I guess it's in range with New York City.
Oh, automated parking structures beneath multi-million-dollar high-rises. The cost can range from $300,000 to $600,000. It's a more traditional affair for parking in Hong Kong, where a $1.3 million parking spot comes with spa access and bottle service. Well, that's about as close to the ending that I was going to refer to. Let's just say there is no way, even if I had so much money, that I wouldn't feel this. I would never pay. You couldn't pay me to pay that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's so like, out of line with reality.
If anything, if I owned it, I would turn it into a hostel and start leasing out rooms. Go. $50 a night. I already bought it, so I don't really care. Just there's a landlord that's going to get paid, and that's it. And they live there. I don't know what I'd do. Turn it into a cat hotel. The point
is you'd use it for something useful.
Yeah. Park a car in it for $300,000. Jeepers creepers.
Especially a car that doesn't even cost
$300,000
half of that or whatever. Right, yeah. Exactly.
It's like a $65,000 car parked in there. Maybe. Anyway, last article for Non Sequitur News. What? Oh, look, it's in Non Sequitur News over at ohmTown.com. Go there, become a citizen. I didn't log in today, ohmTown didn't log in today. Anyway, blenders recalled as laceration warning issued for over 500,000 products. Vitamix. By the way,
Whoa, that's a well-known brand.
It is like the go-to brand for anybody that is like a maker or, like a food show kind of thing. They use Vitamix because it blends so well. Well, it's going to blend you, apparently. Vitamix has recalled thousands of its products after dozens of customers were left injured. When you click the link over at ohmTown.com, you'll get taken to Newsweek.com. Oh, look, millions of blenders recalled after causing $150,000 in damage. Is that the same one?
I don't know.
Shoaib over at Newsweek.com put the article together. Yeah, I don't know. It is. So Vitamix said that
I don't think it is.
Yeah, that's weird, right? So Vitamix said that it received 27 reports of lacerations, including 11 incidents from a prior 2018 recall when customers' hands came in contact with exposed blades. Jesus. The total recall applies to about 569,000 blending containers and blade bases, with the latest recall expansion announced on Thursday. In August 2018, 105 of these were first recalled. So this thing is now 6 years old, and they're still extending the recall.
Yeah, but that's a problem, right? Like if they were notified in 2018, there was a problem. Why are the new ones still having a problem?
Kind of wild, right? Or have that many of them been sold because the marketing is so efficient?
Well, maybe so.
So essentially the containers can separate from the blade base and expose the blades while I guess it's in operation. So randomly throughout the thing or whatever.
I mean, that's pretty serious.
The blender and blending containers are sold between $30 and $990 between April 2017 and May 2024. So yeah, 7 years worth of this. The items could have been sold together separately in sets and in various bundles per the CPSC. They were sold in Walmart, Target, Costco, Amazon, Crate and Barrel, Best Buy, Macy's, Williams-Sonoma, independent stores, your grandma. They don't say grandma in there.
Yeah, but that could have been, they could have sold used, they could have been sold on eBay.
Oh boy. All customers, including those whose blenders were repaired in 2018's recall, are advised to stop using the recalled products and contact Vitamix for another repair kit. So it's a repair for the repair. The repair kit contains a protective plastic shroud to attach over the blade base and additional instructional labels. Don't buy Vitamix until they get their shit together.
What is the label going to do for that issue?
Yeah.
Don't operate the blender.
Despite rigorous testing each product undergoes before going to market, Vitamix often learns a great deal about its products. Yeah, like it can blend people's hands randomly after they've been used by thousands of people in real life situations. In some cases, Vitamix may discover that a product can be used in an unintended manner. What? Are you really blaming the victims? Is that the tone of that? In some cases,
if you put the lid on and start the blender and something goes wrong, that's not the consumer.
Unless they're putting rocks in the damn thing, and even then, hell, maybe they're testing the... No, I'm sure. I mean, if you're putting foodstuffs in any array in a blender, if I put ice in it to make a smoothie, that's about as close to rocks as you can get, right? Maybe put a hard nut in there, right?
Right, but if the smoothie is marketed to have things like ice and nuts in them...
Damn, this reads like they're blaming the victim. I'm like class action these guys. Go ahead.
You have to have a Vitamix to do that.
Well, no. I had the intent to buy a Vitamix until I read this, which is actually true. They're supposed to be quieter and more powerful, but I ain't buying a Vitamix.
But they're really loud at times.
Yeah,
like when the blades are exposed.
It's the screaming
and they're
that
coming at your face or whatever, or your hands or whatever.
That dude that the plane was landing, it wasn't that.
Yes.
It was a Vitamix user. Vitamix is headquartered in Cleveland, Ohio, too. So maybe they did hear somebody screaming about that. Dear God, that
okay,
I am reading that right?
Because it's talking about the Ascent series, and you were just talking about the plane.
Yeah. And when they're
it
talking,
does sound like they're blaming the consumer.
Wow, you're doing it wrong. The Steve Jobs of blenders, you're doing it wrong. Wow. Okay, you're assholes. That's really what it comes down to. Anyway, the blenders from its Ascent and Venturist series are among the more expensive of its products and are billed as the most advanced blender line. And yeah, these are the one. Like I was looking at Vitamix because I'm like, hey, you know what? There's a time in a person's life that when you're gonna spend money because you're doing it a lot, you invest, right? Coffee maker, when you're doing espressos, you get a quality espresso maker, and then you regret it. It's like
the best 2 days in an espresso machines
when you buy it
owners
and when
existence.
Yeah, and when you return to just baseline good coffee. Anyway, wow. Okay, well, I won't be buying any Vitamix. So it's BlendJet is the portable. So Vitamix is not the only company that has had recalls as well. In December 2023, several portable blenders by BlendJet Incorporated were recalled, but that isn't Vitamix. Anyway, I rarely read the article like through and through, but this one was chock-a-block of information. So Aliyah Shoaib over at Newsweek.com put that article together just in case you're curious about it. But that's it, folks. We are done with non sequitur news. And boy, did we non sequitur the hell out of this. So I am going to take the lid off of the Vitamix. We're going to all jump into it, and I'm going to hit blend, and we're just going to pop back to the front page of ohmTown.com, where the sentient AI is going to say, don't refresh the front page. It's a little bit too real today. So we're going to just call it a night and say thank you very much for hanging out. I hope you appreciated the show. Hope you got a kick out of the banter, and I don't know what else. I don't know. Be sure. Oh, by the way, if you come into the chat, or if you want to know about the podcasts and all of that kind of stuff, you can actually go to ohmTown over on Twitch, twitch.tv/ohmTown, and type in !pod, and that will give you all of the podcasts. And if you want to know what the latest show notes are for all of the articles, you can just type in !show notes, and that will list them all. I don't know why I did that. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Focus. Mayor Watt, focus. I guess it didn't update yet. It's not ohmTown Daily News Show anymore. It's Non Sequitur News. That's this show. So, anyway, we meet here 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, at Eastern, 8 p.m. And then Non Sequitur News is also on the weekends at 5 p.m. And then we have 3 additional shows each day of the weekend. And each of those are a podcast as well. So there's Non Sequitur News, then Reality Hacker, Wanted, Warcrafters, and then on Sunday is Non Sequitur News, the Continuity Report, Technology Today, and Four Wheel Tech. And that's it. Right? Today is Friday. Okay. Starting to.
It doesn't feel like it.
Does not feel like a Friday. Anyway, we're done for tonight. Whew. Thanks for hanging out. I am Mayor Watt, and that is the Sentient AI's visualizer.
Right over there.
Wow. That's a lot of
Good night,
neurons.
hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for Non Sequitur News.
Beep, beep. I'm a Jeep.